Speaker or former speaker? Who is really speaking for the Lagos State Assembly? Supreme Court stops allocation to Rivers State, rules that Martin Amewule and 26 others remain members of the State Assembly. Plus, the APC held its long-awaited neck during the week, but some questions linger. We have these and more on the program. I am Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Welcome. Let's start from earlier in the week. The Governing All Progressives Congress, APC, held its long-expected National Executive Committee meeting after the August 3, 2023 session that ousted Abdullahi Umar Adamu and ushered in Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje through internal party mechanism, reconciliation, and inherited debt profile of more than 8 billion dominated the agenda of that meeting.
February 26, 2025 will remain in history for a very long time in the hearts of political gladiators and ardent followers of top party events, especially within the APC fold, as the positions of Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje and Dr. Ajibola Basiru as national chairman and national secretary of the party were rectified alongside other members of the National Working Committee. And the party's plenary session began after a summary of the agenda was read by the national chairman of the party, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, and issues of internal party politics, array of defections by opposition, and outstanding legal fee of more than 8 billion naira came to the front burner.
Your Excellency, in our effort to further build on the fortunes of the party, provide access and visibility to the leadership, the National Working Committee at its first meeting resolved to be having regular weekly meetings. This initiative has opened our doors to consistent engagement and interaction with various support groups, state chapters, local and international groups, party members in diaspora, envoys, and many others.
Leaders of the party at various layers of responsibilities passed a vote of confidence in the president beyond 2027 owing to the sincerity of policy's execution under a tough and daunting times.
In previous administrations, to even undertake payment of salary, they needed to print the currency without any production, without earnings. But under you, ways and means have been brought to an end. So I want to congratulate you.
As we strengthen our currency, inflation has significantly declined, dropping from 18.2% in mid-2024 to 12.5% by the end of the year.
Who took all the blames at the beginning of all the various reform policies of Mr. President? Cost of living is high, yes. Food is expensive, yes. Hunger is in town, yes. But we need a permanent solution.
There is now relationship between effort and reward. As a worker, sir, that is the basis for encouraging everyone that if you work, you will earn.
This cramming place is getting too small for us. And I agree with you, we need space allocation. But you know Abuja better than myself. And you can work with Wiki and let me know where you need my attention.
On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate, on your mandate, on your mandate we shall stand.
Well, the first national chairman of the Governing All Progressives Congress, Chief Bisi Akande, and others have cautioned members against flagrant disrespect to government and party authority, regardless of the differences that may exist.
In the generations of our own boys, you know, the government is important, and we have to find a mix. Okay, put the party leadership and the government leadership forward, and that's what we do now. If anybody says this is the way they have been doing it in my time and it must not change, it will be like a fish out of water.
More and more defections are being witnessed. from other parties to APC in the National Assembly, House of Representatives, the Senate, and various houses of assemblies across the country. Where we are, it's not a too comfortable zone, but strides have been made. And this is even the more of the scores we hope for and we intend to strive.
Even the blind can see that Tinubu is performing, because for the first time from infancy, since I knew about foreign exchange has never been known to go down. Once it goes up, it never comes down.
All right, moving to some assembly matters, push and shove in different state houses of assembly for some time now. So, removed Speaker, Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, has reiterated that his removal did not follow due process. And until that is done, he remains the Speaker of the Lagos State Assembly. Obasa stated this on his arrival at the State Assembly complex accompanied by armed police personnel in Lagos.
The heavy presence of security agents in and around the Lagos House of Assembly complex created an air of uncertainty. Soon, the former Speaker Mudashiru Obasa drove into the legislative complex as lawmakers watched from distance. Having gone round and gained entry into the Speaker's office, Obasa decided to field questions from journalists on his presence at the House of Assembly and issues surrounding his removal.
Have you been reinstated? Are you back now?
I've told you repeatedly, I've never been removed. There's nothing like impeachment. So I don't know what you are saying. I've said this openly.
Sir.
That everybody, remove, what is it called? Impeachment or whatever, or removing is not democratic and constitutional. But in doing that, to achieve that, you must follow the due process.
Thereafter, the lawmakers expressed their displeasure with the heavy presence of police personnel and harassment experienced before coming into the Legislative House.
This is Lagos. This is the center of excellence. This is where everything starts and it stops. We've been law-abiding. We've not gone out of our way. So I'm appealing to the leadership of our party that we cannot continue this way.
Loyalists and supporters of the former speaker came in their numbers, chanting solidarity songs at the gate leading to the assembly. Former Speaker Mudashiru Obasa is resuming to the House of Assembly for the 6 days after he was removed and replaced with Ojisola Miranda.
All right, we'll go to that issue, maybe still in the course of the program. But meanwhile, the Supreme Court has stopped allocation to Rivers State until an appropriation law is duly enacted. It also ruled that Martin Amaewule and 26 other lawmakers remain members of the State House of Assembly and should resume sitting immediately. It has also held that the impeachment concerns raised by the governor is not cogent enough for the affront of the Assembly. Joining us now, of course, is our correspondent in Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri. So, of course, we also intend to join a legal practitioner from Rivers State, Higher King, in the course of this program. But Kingsley, you are on the street there in Port Harcourt. Tell me about some of the interactions you've had since that Supreme Court ruling and how that may affect the dynamics of, Rivers State politics.
All right, Fisayo, if I get you right, the city of Port Harcourt is, of course, calm. Although this judgment has come with different stakeholders in the state reacting differently, it has been, before now, a situation where the two groups have been campaigning and, of course, canvassing different perspectives to this issue. One thing that is coming out of this Supreme Court decision today is that it will lay to rest the continuous, what we will call disobedience of court order, because there have been plethora of cases and counter court decisions. Each time this court decision comes, you have another one countering the other. At a point, they had to resort to saying that they will wait to see the outcome of the Supreme Court decision on these issues. And now that the Supreme Court has come with a clear-cut decision on the issue with regards to the state appropriation and the local government council, we will expect now the authorities from the both parties to comply to the pronouncement of the Supreme Court. But in the meantime, residents of Port Harcourt are going about their lawful duties, notwithstanding this court pronouncement today.
To you, I need you to move away from where you are simply because of some suspicious movement behind you. I'm not sure that somebody behind you there is particularly sure of what you are doing. So we want you to move from where you are standing so that perhaps we'll get you better composed because of. All right. So Kingsley, go ahead now. You told me earlier that you were trying to reach out to one or two of the, the Matthew in Amewule side of the issue. Perhaps have you been able to talk to them, or is there a statement from the state government at this time? Kingsley, can you hear me? Kingsley, go ahead, please. Go ahead. All right, while we try to rejoin.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Well, in the meantime, I will say that with respect to the decisions of the Supreme Court, we will now be expecting the state government to represent the appropriation bill that is in contention to the Amewule-led House of Assembly as ordered by the Supreme Court. And beside that, there have been also a number of decisions that have been taken by the state government in terms of appointments, in terms of recognitions, which the Amewule-led Assembly has also come to say they did not recognize such appointments and decisions because they needed the approval of the State Assembly. In the coming days, we will also be seeing what the decisions of the House of Assembly and the state government will be. So many will expect a reconciliation of these issues where they have conflicting ideas. The pronouncements of the Supreme Court will definitely guide all the parties in question to key and toe to the decisions of the Supreme Court and move forward in terms of governance and administration in Rivers State.
For one last question, if you can't, we'll appreciate your interventions this afternoon. Hopefully we'll get you in the course of the day, especially during the nationwide reports, so that you can perhaps give us more perspectives as far as Rivers politics is concerned. Many thanks to Kingsley Amajiri, who has been monitoring things in Port Harcourt. So many conflicting judgments before now, but Supreme Court has laid all this to rest with today's judgment on two key issues, that is the State Assembly as well as the local government elections there as well. We're trying to reach our guest, Aya King, via Zoom. Hopefully we will try and also get him as a public affairs analyst and to see the legal aspects of all this. But earlier in the week, we had a conversation with a youth leader from Rivers State, Waluchi Nemembobo, who was quite adamant that the politicians in the state know what to do to restore peace.
Nobody will want to build a structure and leave it for another. So the crisis you are seeing now is as a result of what my leader will always call recovering the party from the hands of Buccaneer and backfires who want to steal the party.
Okay, let's go to your state. Apart from talking about the party in general, let's quickly go to your state. We have a lot of anti-party activities in your state. So many confrontations as well. People holding cards of PDP but working against the PDP, and in some cases, some holding the cards of other parties and then working for the PDP. How do you untangle all this conundrum?
Well, in my state, I will want to tell you that PDP in Rivers State is very, very intact. The only person that is holding PDP card and working for another party is the governor of the state, His Excellency, Governor Fubara. As a sitting governor of PDP, he brought in a party called APP to contest a local government election.
he conducted the election in the 23 local government of Rivers State without giving his party an opportunity.
All right, let's quickly move on from that. You are a youth as well, and many will perhaps even describe you as a youth leader. In terms of followership, where is the cause of state moving now? And what is your plea to bring the party to an even keel? Perhaps some of you might even be, perhaps nursing some exodus from the party, since we have seen APP having new friends as far as elections are concerned in Rivers State.
Well, as a Rivers person and also as a Rivers youth leader, I want to assure you that every Rivers person is a PDP person. 80% of Rivers people till today. Because the election he conducted, nobody came out to vote. It was just election by unopposed. He doesn't care if people registered or not. So PDP.
That's your claim. That's
yes.
Not the claim of the other party. A lot of people were jubilating in, at the different party secretariats at that time.
On the day of that election, I know you have the video clip, you can still watch, and you discover that all Rivers people were on the street of Port Harcourt. Nobody went to the pool. There are certain polling units that there was no poster for registered voters, and come to start with, INEC did not give them a registered voting card. So how did they conduct the election?
According to you, but
no,
let's
make a research.
Let's move on very quickly. How do you now begin to disentangle all this? Because you are perhaps getting into part 2 of the tenure of the governor. Are you expecting perhaps a peaceful resolution amongst warring parties, or are you going to continue this verbal jousting till 2027 comes around?
Well, as for me, I'm speaking on behalf of the youth of Rivers State. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has set up a committee and elders of the Rivers State, and there was a resolution because he was accusing the FCT minister that he wants to hijack the government of Rivers State. There was a resolution what this party will do and what the other party will do. The party of the Right Honorable Martins, Chike Amehuye, fulfilled their own part. The party of the governor refused to fulfill their part. And that is why there is a crisis in the state. For us, we have decided to obey the rules of the laws, the law of the land, which is the court. We have moved from High Court to Appeal Court, from Appeal, we are now in the Supreme Court. So we, the Rivers Youth, have decided that we will wait until the law speak. Whatever thing the court decides, that will be our stand.
We may not, agree to name calling, because we also give them an opportunity to defend their side of the case, since, of course, the state is being run, and he is the ombudsman. After all, it was also voted for by your people, just like you said. So wherever... That was just earlier before the court judgment, and now the court judgment. So we have a lawyer also joining us via Zoom. Aya King is joining us from Lagos, but of course of Port Harcourt, of Rivers descent. You've seen what has played out so far in your state as far as the ruling is concerned, and the verbal jousting all over the place. What are you expecting? First, from the legal perspective, and also as a public commentator, we've spoken to you severally about these issues. How do you want this resolved now? Hopefully, the consequences of this would not lead to some bad blood between the State Assembly and the executive.
Well, thank you very much, Chief Ogungi. You see, what has just happened, that is why we tell everybody that in court case, you don't say must be my way or the other way. Well, it is the Supreme Court that has just spoken, although I don't have the details of that judgment or ruling yet. I don't have it. Until I have it, I'll be able to speak more. But again, if you follow me up earlier, I have been of the opinion that they should be able to come together, the political actors to come together in this practice and do the needful by consignment. I have always said that from the beginning because they know themselves. They are birds of the same feather. They have been flocking together until something set them apart. So having said that, I still expect that this should not lead to crisis in Rivers State. Unfortunately, like I have said in several interviews, that the politicians we have, not just in Rivers State, but in Nigeria, there are people that that are interested in their personal interest, personal gain. They are not interested in the public gain or public interest. Most of the things they do it for personal gain. Nigerian politicians are politicians that they disobey the law, they violate the law, they disobey rules. They don't have regard for any rules. They only obey those ones that are favorable to them, unfortunately. That is actually what happens in Nigeria as far as politics is concerned. And my fear, my worry is that the courts are now being dragged into the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and even the Supreme Court. They have always been dragged into it. I have met a judge who told me that this decision I made is not my decision. It's not what I would have said when we met privately, but because of the interest, the judge has to go this other way. I've also met the one that said, go on appeal, you win. And we went on appeal and we won the case. I don't know why he decided to take the decision or the ruling the case at that particular time. So most of the time, Judge right from 1979, if you recall, the famous My Hands Are Tied, Justice blessed memory of the Supreme Court. He said, and I quote, he told Awolowo, he said, my hands are tied. What you are asking me to do, you may be right, but I cannot do it because my hands are tied. What am I saying? A situation where the politician, the executive, controls all arms of government. It's not healthy. It's not healthy because it's not healthy at all. We are the politicians that call the shots everywhere. It's not healthy at all.
I agree with you, especially in terms of the flagrant, disobey of court orders and all that, and, technicalities involved in everything. But we have always said that in spite of all this, going to court and all, they know themselves, members of the same party, from the same political branch. They should have looked for a political solution in the first instance as against, getting to this sorry pass.
Exactly what I said before. They should have looked for political solutions. Let me tell you something that happened. There is a matter I have been doing. It's a defamation matter. One of the two politicians, one of them sued the other one for 500 billion. And I countersued 500 million. And I countersued for 1 billion. And we have been in court for the past 4 years. Now, the other one was in this other party. The other one was in this other party. But Ogumbi, I can tell you that 3 weeks now, two of them came together. I spoke to my own client this morning. They are all political actors in Rivers State. In government, they are all in the now they are together. And now they are together. They called me yesterday. They said they have terms of settlement. But this morning, I just forwarded my own terms of settlement to their lawyer, to the other politician's lawyer. So I'm still waiting for him to respond so that we can finalize. And from the beginning, I was telling the other lawyer, the opponent lawyer, I said, we don't need to fight. These people can settle anytime. That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm going. They can settle anytime. I told him this 4 years ago. When we were talking yesterday, he told me, but I told you, we don't fight for these people. These people can reconcile, irrespective of what is happening now. Wike and King, the governor of Rivers, can reconcile any moment. Their reconciliation does not, if you remember, today, FCC minister is in PDP, that is in APC. So even as we speak now, by tomorrow they may wake up and they are no longer together. That's politicians for you. That is why I am not too very keen about them. I'm not very keen about them. All they are interested like always their personal interest. There's something that will happen this night in Ghana. They have reconciled.
All right. Let's round it up this way. Time is not our friend. I know you've been trying to join us, but you weren't able to, maybe for some technical issues or the other. We might have an opportunity to continue this conversation perhaps next week. But as you have said, things continue to prop up. So I just advise you, just as you have always done, to keep it locked on the Nigerian Television Authority for these updates, and you get to know firsthand what is actually happening in all these sectors. Many thanks to Aya King for his inputs in terms of the legality and, the law, and of course our correspondent Kingsley Amajiri for giving us updates from the streets of Port Harcourt, as well as our guest as well, the youth leader who spoke earlier about the situation out there in Rivers State. That's been Political Updates for today. We'll be back on Tuesday, and between now and then, play your politics for the greater good. Bye-bye now.